There's a link here below that will be added below in the notes for WordPress scripts. It basically sets up things that you need really to run blocks. So what we'll do is we'll go into our theme, and what you can see, we've got a package JSON here. Come down, and what we do is basically install WordPress scripts, the latest versions. And what we'll do is we'll create some folders for various different things here, our blocks, etc. So the first thing is do npm init-y. We'll set up a basic package JSON, and then do npm install, and you could do npm I at WordPress scripts up here and install that. And what we're going to basically do is in this folder here is we'll have a look that once that's done, what we can do is if we do npm start, just to keep everything running, we don't need that because we've got them in our build folder, which we'll make shortly. But if we now come to localhost and look at our site, that's our front end book. Let's just go into WP admin and let's log in. So we've got our FSE theme here, and basically the way this is structured to start with is we've seen before where we had our templates, we had our style.css, there's nothing there. Screenshot, we know. Index.php is empty. The functions, this is just our regular PHP function to enqueue in the build folder what gets produced in the output. We'll need the index.js that runs the blocks, the style index.css, which is for the editor, the index CSS, which is for the front end. And what will happen is if you install WordPress scripts, and if you have like a source folder with an index.js, it'll bundle everything up for you. Here we're importing the CSS style.scss, so it runs it. I've left a basic file in here, nothing here, but if you're having your modules, if you have a style.css, the package will build the two style sheets, style.index for editor and index.c, if you've got it, index.css for the front end. Now basically we're going to have a folder here for our blocks, and that's where we're going to start putting our blocks in our theme. You can do them in plugins, but for this kind of demonstration of bespoke theme, we're going to put it inside the theme rather than in blocks. So that's the only difference. We have our plain index HTML, and what we're going to do is cut all that out and do Control Save. So that'll be empty. So if we come in here and basically go into this site here, if we go into Edit Site, we will see on the back end that we have the editor version, and notice things look different. We're going to get into that. But if we look at the code of our banner, basically what we're doing is we're registering a block, and because the wp.blocks is by default installed in the browser in the window, let's just have a quick look at that. If we come in here and go F12 into console, let's clear everything and let's type WP. You can suddenly see now you're getting all of those things here that you could got basically block directory, block library. So without having to use JSX to start with and all that wrapping up, we can basically access a lot of these different things. We don't have to do imports. All these different things are on the WP element for WordPress. So when we come back in here, we can see our code is firstly we register our block theme, give it a name and a title. There's a title. For icon, you can normally just do a dash icon, but you can also do source, background and foreground, and we'll see that that actually highlights where it is. We can put it in the particular category. We can also make custom categories. We'll do that later. We need these two functions. So the edit component is basically just returning editor. This is from our block, and the front end, it's in green. So those two there. So that's how when we come in here, we see red here. And if we go back into the site, we'll see the green version. And notice how it's full width. We'll sort out all of these things in a little while. So this is our base style of our, and when we run npm build, I've just run, let me just do npm build. Let's delete this folder. And let's run npm run build. And what we've done in package.json was we're running it and we're saying go into the index.js, which it does by default. But because we now also want to do our blocks, this is how we do it to start with. There are many different ways, but for now we're just basically loading in our blocks. That's built successfully. So when we refresh, there we are. Now let's go into edit site and let's have a look at that block. If we come down here, we can see we put it in the text and I've called it banner, a smiley icon, background of that blue and a color white. So that can be quite useful. Some people don't do it, but it's quite handy just to spot your own ones. And later on, we'll be able to create our own categories so that all our custom blocks can be in our own special category. So that's basic setup. If you have that, then at least you can basically working with a block, and we'll go from there.